No one cooks the way we cook, and no one has the bounty of raw ingredients that we have. So to live and cook here is not only an exceptional experience, but people worldwide know about it. As I look back on my youth, I realized the gift God gave the Folse family. I grew up learning how to fish, gather seafood, and cook every day of my life. Join me, Chef John Folse, as I cook up dishes honoring the age-old traditions of seafood and Louisiana's world-famous cuisine on Hooks, Lies, and Alibis.
Hooks, Lies, and Alibis is underwritten by Visit Baton Rouge, a longtime partner of this series and LPB. The capital city offers Southern hospitality, cultural attractions, food, shopping, and fun. Information at visitbatonrouge.com. And by Audubon, Louisiana, working to conserve, restore, and protect important places for birds and people since 1924. And by the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Our mission is to tell Louisiana's story to the world.
Fish markets in the Middle Ages and Renaissance were bustling centers of activity, not much unlike popular food markets in cities today. You might hear the public criers shouting the wrongdoings of a merchant who sold putrid fish. Though the public market has given way in many cases to grocery stores and artisanal food counters, you can still find fresh whole fish displayed on ice in the local fish market today. A few of these markets quickly come to mind. Pike Place in Seattle, London's Billingsgate, where fishmongers hawk their wares to passerbys. In the Baton Rouge, Louisiana area, my favorite market, Tony's Seafood.
We've been on Baton Rouge for since 1959. Within 4 blocks, we've been 55 years on Plank Road within 4 blocks from here.
You started off as a vegetable market. You didn't start off as a seafood market, right?
No, we moved from Donaldsonville in 1959. We started off as a produce company with a fruit stand in the front. And in 1972, we started Tony's Seafood. And then 10 years later, we started Louisiana Fish Fry Products by accident when my dad had a heart attack. He was piddling around with the seasonings, and now it's got to be a bigger operation than our seafood.
Open the door and your senses are immediately assaulted with familiar aromas such as crab boil, cayenne pepper, lemons, and onions.
We're the #1 fish fry in the country. We started off in 1982, like I said earlier, but we make everything from fish fry to the Louisiana crawfish, crab, and shrimp boil, Cajun seasoning. We got about 30 different items, and we're in about over 45 states and about 6 countries.
The cases here are filled with beautiful fin fish, shellfish, boiled seafood, and any variety you can imagine. And some of the freshwater fish are still swimming in the tanks. You just can't get any fresher than that.
The market has changed in the last 20 years. The catfish, we went to the farm-raised catfish in 1978, and the reason is to have a consistent supply. Because a lot of times you wouldn't get catfish through the winter months when it got too cold, but this gave us a 52-week supply of catfish throughout the year. And for the other fish like red snapper and redfish, a lot of that has changed because it's become more of a sports fish. You only limit it to certain times of the year and limited amounts that you can bring in red snapper and redfish and stuff like that. So what happens is we try to keep as much as possible during the seasons, and then if not, then we'll try to bring it in from other places that's able to catch it.
Just as Europeans desired fresh fish daily, especially those citizens of towns within a day's journey of the coast, so do we Louisianians.
This is American bread.
All right, y'all, Leah Chase asked for it. This is the absolute biggest, the freshest, the most wonderful Gaspergou, or as she would call it, Creole sheephead. And I'm going to bring it to her. She's going to show me how to cook it. What a pleasure it is to have you over the fish.
Thank you
baby,
so
huh?
much. This takes me so far back. My mother loved this. And when you told her Gaspergou, or she told you a Gaspergou, that was like dying and going to heaven. She loved the fish. She either boiled it or baked it whole.
So
like
it was
this.
boiled or baked, either one, huh? Oh Lord, look at our roux here, Leah. Let's throw a little onion in here, then that'll cool this down a little bit.
Yeah, that's.
So we have our dark brown roux right here, right?
That smells so good.
You can smell that roux, huh?
Yeah, I can smell that roux.
Now Leah, also there was a saltwater sheephead too. And I think that was more the aristocratic fish. Right? This was more what we ate in the country.
This came out the bayous, I remember.
Yeah, the bayous and the freshwater, the freshwater rivers. Now I've added a little stock to this. I've added a little shellfish stock, but of course in the old days they'd have just dumped water in
They
here.
just put a little water and put a little fresh thyme in it, season it up real good.
Now you always refer to this as the center of a Creole table. Like, now I might have a turkey, or I might have a big ham. This
fish was the center, and the Creoles took great pleasure in garnishing it with shrimp or whatever. It was really good.
Now, what is the flavor of the fish? How would we describe a freshwater carp versus the, say, saltwater sheephead?
It's so much better. The flesh is so firm and good. It's so much better.
I just love the way Leah talks.
Because I love to eat this fish. I'm talking good. Oh, the fish is just, and the fish, when you boil it or you bake it, it's just so firm and nice. I'm going to tell that Cajun how to cook this.
Go ahead.
Sometimes they have that paprika.
Oh, to color it more
and
red.
And to color it more. You know, we like red.
Oh.
So to color it a little bit more and pick up that color, you put a little paprika in there.
Remember, we used to put the oyster mushrooms in there too, right out of the swamp.
Right out of the swamp.
Now, what I'm going to do is to go ahead, Leah, and I'm going to take this sauce. Look at that. And I'm going to go right over that beautiful fish. Look at that.
Look at that.
Just like that.
Oh,
now, y'all, we're going to put this in the oven, and it's going to take only about 45 minutes. It don't take a lot of time to cook this fish. You can cover it or leave it uncovered. Y'all,
we used to leave it uncovered.
Ooh, look at the shrimp.
And every once in a while, my mother would baste it over a little bit.
Oh, Lord, look at that. Now, look at here. Look at here. That. Don't you go anywhere.
Look at that.
Look at that fish right there. That's what it looks like when it's done.
Isn't that beautiful?
You know, Leah Chase is the cook we all wish to be. She came to New Orleans from Madisonville and brought a big heart and a big smile and took whatever the world gave African Americans in the 40s and the 50s with a smile on her face and never looked down and never thought herself less. As a cook, I put Leah Chase in the highest esteem of any I know, and I've met them all. Leah, we just finished that beautiful big old Gaspergou with that, and that beautiful.
My mother used to love that Gaspergou.
They already run meat, and we ain't even gonna get a piece of it. But you know what? This recipe, y'all, this cow-wan stew recipe that this lady has cooked and told me about for years. Today, I'm gonna get an opportunity to cook this beautiful turtle. Now, how long have you been doing it? Now, cow-wan, I call it turtle. Is that a special kind of turtle, cow-wan?
It's a snapping turtle.
Yeah,
it's a snapping turtle like that, yeah. And you know, my uncle used to go hunt the turtles and sell them, and that's what we had on Easter Sunday.
It was an Easter Sunday dish.
It was
I didn't
an Easter Sunday. See, they come out in the spring. Well, Easter Sunday begin in the spring.
Right.
So we had that cow-wan stew. That was your dinner with some pani meat on Easter Sunday, you know. But that cow-wan stew was the big thing you had. You did that. And you were so privileged if it had eggs in it.
Oh, my God, yeah, because the eggs of the turtle always went into the stew right at the end.
Yeah, John, I don't fool with turtles unless I see it crawling.
Listen to this. So if it's not moving, you're not eating it.
Not eating it. I don't know where it came from.
Now people say that turtle, and I have the meat right here. I want you to take a look at this.
That's
this is
great
the beautiful
looking.
snapping turtle meat. Most people say turtle has 7 different flavors in the meat. Did you
all
ever hear that
depends.
story?
Yeah, because in the back of that shell in here, the meat is snow white.
Yeah, right.
It's snow white. And so you have different shades of meat. The legs are one color, and the tail meat, and then under the shell is the white meat. So you have different...
And all of it has some different flavors. Some people say pork, lamb, and all that. So, Leah, look, I made a beautiful dark brown roux. I want you to taste. This is equal parts of oil and flour right here. Take a look at how pretty that is. See the color of that?
Yeah.
Now we're going to throw into that the turtle meat. Now, I know you told me that you always fry the turtle meat first in oil, then you make your roux with the oil, right?
Yeah, but you can do it this way. We would take that meat, and of course, for the restaurant, you have to take bones out. People don't like bones, but we didn't take bones out. We put that turtle in there and what we call smother it down, just like he's doing in that. Look at that. That's a nice piece.
That's a nice big piece of meat, right? Good turtle meat. Okay, so it's all going to go in the roux, and I'm going to stir that roux around at equal parts of
it smells so good.
And we brown that already.
Good.
And Leah, in Louisiana cooking, Creole cooking, I mean, you don't do a Cowan stew without a lot of good seasoning. So
you have to have all the good stuff in it.
Yeah, so look at here. I have my onions, my celery, my bell pepper. See, I'm going to put all of that in like this.
Yeah, you have
I'm
to
gonna
have
put
plenty seasoning.
look at that garlic.
Garlic, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to add all of that in. A bay leaf, a little bit thyme you always put
in.
And
never cook Cowan crawfish without fresh thyme. That was a stickler for that.
And then a little bit
tomatoes.
Tomatoes going to go into it, and I'm going to stir all of that around, and then the nice stock. You can use a beef stock, you can use water, or you can boil turtle meat or turtle bones and make your turtle stock.
That's what we used to do. We used to kind of boil the bony part, and make the turtle stock in there. Look at that.
Isn't that beautiful? Now, y'all, I'm going to put a little salt in there, a little pepper, and Leah, I'm going to leave this cooked for about an hour or so just to get it turtle nice and tender. Little spice. You always like to put that red pepper flakes in there like that. Now, Leah, I have some already done over here. Let's take on this pot. You can stir that pot up right there one time. And you might want to take a little taste of it.
Oh, look
y'all,
at that.
Look at the chunk. The only other thing I do with this, I break a couple of eggs, because normally the eggs of the turtle would go into the dish. But when it's done, I break a couple. This extended the protein in the dish as well. That way the kids can eat some of this.
Great.
How's that?
That's great, John.
Isn't that good? Well, it's her recipe. Why wouldn't it be great?
All you need is some nice rice and potato salad, John.
Oh, right on the side of it. Leah, put me a little bit in the bowl. Y'all, I don't know what you're going to do, but Leah and I, we tasting Cowan. Cowan. Look at that color right there.
Isn't that beautiful?
You go ahead and get a little taste. I'll get my spoon here.
This is beautiful.
Look at that. Huh? Grab you a little bite of that, Leah.
This is so good, and that meat is so tender. Great meat.
Unbelievable.
People who live north of Bayou Pigeon, and that's pretty much everybody in Louisiana, wonder, how can we eat some of the foods that we absolutely cherish? Well, Ricky Phillips has truly made a living by living off of the land, or in this case, the swamplands.
You know, it's another rainy afternoon in Louisiana on the dock, huh, Ricky? I mean, that's typical of our weather.
Yeah, I left Bayou Pigeon and leave the rain over there to come to it in Baton Rouge.
Well, I think that's a good Lord's way of cooling Louisiana down. Anyway, y'all, here's the unofficial mayor of Bayou Pigeon, Louisiana, Ricky Phillips, and you have a great seafood business in the Bayou Pigeon area. Where exactly is that? What do you do?
Bayou Pigeon is about 30 minutes southwest of Plaquemine, 15 minutes west of White Castle.
Right.
30 minutes southeast of Donaldson.
And that's pretty much where all the Cajun fishermen, they're going deep into the swamp there, into the Chafalaya, into the lakes, and bringing in a lot of the freshwater seafood, right?
Oh yeah,
which is why we're doing the carp right here today. Now this is a Gaspergou,
which is French for kind of clam cracker because of the teeth. It has these really heavy molars in the back of the throat. But it's a really nice white meat fish, huh?
Absolutely.
Now, we don't see it eaten too much like in restaurants or anything, but certainly in camp cooking or some of the homes along the bayou, we're certainly going to see a lot of this. Huh?
Yeah, what we call the old sauce piquant, goose sauce piquant.
Yeah, oh my God, that's a classic too. Now this one right here, I have to tell you, is a gift to me from the people of Bulgaria. I had these great cheesemakers from Bulgaria, and they always use freshwater carp for St. Nick's Day, which was December the 6th. And of course, carp of St. Nick was a patron of fishermen, so carp was definitely the dish that he wanted. I'm going to go in onion, celery, bell pepper, a little bit, of course, mushrooms. You see that? Look at the garlic, Rick. You see that?
That's what I like.
Somebody say you need a lot of garlic when you have goo, right? So you can take that and just put it on the back counter there for me. Y'all, I'm going to saute this around. I'm making a stuffing for the fish. Now, what other freshwater varieties are really good coming out of that Bayou Pigeon area?
Well, commercially, you know, you got catfish, of course, and flathead catfish. You got German carp. Not too many people eat that locally, but they do eat them overseas.
Well, you know, it's interesting in history to go back and see the monks in the monasteries kept ponds with carp, so they would have them at all times, even during the like when they were fasting, they would have the carp available to them. And of course, also the Greeks. I mean, the Greeks really treasured this dish. Now what we're going to go into here for the stuffing, as the Bulgarians do, we're adding a little raisins, dark and gold, and a little bit nuts. We can use pecans. You can see it's going to be a really nice. And Ricky, give me that brown rice. Now, of course, you can use white rice, but I like the brown rice in this, and that's what they use to put it on. You can dust it all and dump it all in there. And once it's mixed, and you can stir that up, and I'm going to add a little bit of this is just a nice fish stock to it. So I'm going to add the fish stock, and this is going to create a beautiful rice stuffing for the fish. Now, after a couple of ladles of fish stock, I can season it, of course, with a little bit salt and pepper. A little granulated garlic can go into that as well. And then tomato. You see that tomato picture you have over there? Put about half of that down in here. Just about half of that's going to really give it a nice color. Oh, yeah, just a little bit. Now, you put the lid on this, turn it down to low, and the stuffing's going to cook absolutely beautiful. And, of course, for all Louisianians, they're going to say this is a jambalaya, but not with raisins and pecans in it, huh? You ready? You ready to season?
Ready.
There's your salt.
What we do
and
first?
we're going to go right on the inside. You open it up. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and put a little salt and pepper down in there like that.
Okay.
You got me?
Got you.
Season inside well. I'm going to reach over you. Okay. Oh, yeah. See that nice stuffing we just made? It's going to go right into the dish as well. And I'm going to take the rest of this. Now, if you pick that fish up, just pick it straight up. Okay. I'm going to put this down on the plate. Y'all got me? Right down on the plate. And we're going to lay the fish on top of it, cover it with a little foil, and y'all, it's going to go into a 350-degree oven. And Ricky, oh yeah, you hold half of that right there and open up that foil. Y'all take a look at that. This is a very basic country dish of the bayous of Louisiana. This is a beautiful, beautiful carp. And when we come back, we're going to make a stew with this goo. Don't you go anywhere.
That's good.
Isn't that nice? Look at that. The meat nice and tender.
Never ate it like that.
Yeah, see that? all that meat will come right off of that.
Yeah.
Rick is the only man I know who actually wrangled a television show about a few things Louisianians won't eat. It doesn't matter whether it crawls, swims, slithers. We have a recipe for it. Man, Ricky, that was a beautiful dish, huh? That nice big carp. Now, a lot of people, is there people who confuse carp for sheephead, or is sheephead a freshwater, is just another freshwater name for that particular dish?
No, sheephead's, I think, it's a saltwater fish. You know,
right. Well, there's a saltwater variety of sheephead for sure.
Yeah, they cousins. There's two species, freshwater,
right,
saltwater,
right.
but they're like.
I think a lot of the African American communities in the early days referred to that big carp, because Leah Chase, my good friend, always talks about the carp. In fact, we were with her and she was talking about the carp and how to use it as a centerpiece on the table. And she said, we call that sheephead. So I guess different people call it different things in different communities. You ready to make our goo stew?
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned a sauce pecan a minute ago. Sauce pecan is the same thing, just a little spice in with tomatoes. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take this off. Okay. I'll add the tomatoes in a minute. But I want you to just dump all of this. I have onions. Take a look at this. Onion, celery, bell pepper, garlic, green onions, parsley, all the great Trinidad flavors in my dark brown roux, y'all. Equal parts of oil. If I would just throw it on in there.
One at a time.
Oh no, you can pile it on. This is camp. This is cooking from the dock. We're not worried about being fancy. We just want to dump it.
Hold on to lemons, huh?
Yeah, you can put a lemon or two in here. Now, y'all, that dark brown roux, which you hear about all the time, equal parts of oil and flour that's cooked together to that really nice dark brown color, will give these type of stews just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful look and flavor, of course. So now, Ricky, let's go in with all of the meat. Now, I have the carp. Let's go in. Yeah, let's go in. I'm going to put in. Now, this stew will call for a little bit of oysters. I'm going to put a couple bay leaves in it. And then you can put all of the carp. Look how nice, look how white the meat of that carp is. You see that? I mean, just really beautiful white meat. And, of course, it bakes so beautifully. You can put it all in there. Now, crab meat, as well as the shrimp. Now you can imagine this is a pot overfilled, right, with
that's for sure.
So well, that's one of the things about Louisiana cooking. There's so much of it, we tend to combine a lot of species in one pot. Now give me a little bit of the tomato there as well and dump it in. Now dump it all in there. I was mentioning a while ago about the fact that the French word Gaspergou has been translated into the English to mean like casse means to break, and burgoo meaning like shellfish or clam. So it's a cracker or a breaker of clams is where the name comes from. But I didn't realize.
They definitely got some teeth on them.
Well, what about the freshwater clams in Louisiana or mussels? Do you ever see any of those? We don't eat them ourselves.
I caught one catfishing the other day. Got on my hook. He tried to get the worm. I come up with a clam. They there.
So now look, we have. You can stir that for me. And I'm going to go ahead and take so this is just a good fish stock. See how rich that is? Oh, yeah, look at that. Y'all, I'm putting a little fish stock in here. Oh, yeah, I've heard this goo called sheephead a lot of times, and I think kind of an interchangeable term between the freshwater sheephead and the carp. And, of course, so many, I wish people would use the carp more often. We have a lot of great varieties, but I'm going to tell you to have a freshwater carp that is so flavorful and so beautiful and so many, there's no reason we shouldn't use it. Take a look at that, y'all, how beautiful. Good. Can you imagine? Look at this stew right here, how great it is. Ricky, what else going on in that beautiful Bayou Pigeon area? Now, of course, alligators are really big
That's
over
coming
there.
up. That's coming up at the last week in August, the first Wednesday.
Right.
Is when it opens.
And any of the Cajun fishermen over there taking some of these freshwater species, including alligator, and making a commercial crop out of this?
Yeah, I mean, the Asian carp are starting to come on. The jumping fish,
right.
They're starting to get a little demand for that, just to make fish patties and stuff. And there's an interest overseas for it.
Yeah. But look, you know, Ricky, take a look at this pot. I mean, is there any doubt that this is delicious? And this is made with a fish that most Louisianians today would walk away from. Just another reason, y'all, that you shouldn't ever turn your back on good flavor. Take a look at this. Take a look at the finished dish. Now, we serve this over a nice bowl of white rice, or you can put it over pasta. It's a fantastic dish. Now, Ricky, we're going to let this cook. We're going to come back in just a little while, y'all, and I have one more dish to show you before we tell you goodbye from the dock. Look how beautiful this is.
It is. That is so pretty.
I love a great Bloody Mary, great for brunch and great while munching on the catch of the day. All right, everybody, I'll tell you, we found a couple of stragglers with a fishing pole in their hand, and we got them to come on up and help us stir the pot. And, of course, a little Bayou Bloody Mary. Now, look at here, Ricky, right in front of us, we've taken some nice freshwater fish, any kind. Joe, you can grab one too. This is a little boulette de poisson. We just took a like this. It could be catfish, it could be carp, it could be any kind of freshwater fish or saltwater. We made a good boulette and we pan fried it. Made a good little hamburger out of it. Of course, you can do anything. The boulettes are perfect. You can cook it in tomato gravy or brown gravy with mushrooms, right? Beautiful, beautiful dish. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to put one quick. This is my little. Look at that goo. Look at that goo stew. You see that? Huh? Anyway, just another beautiful dish, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining me on the dock here today. It was absolutely fantastic. Thank all of you. I appreciate it so much. And thanks for all of you for stopping by the camp today. And when it comes to fish or fishing or eating seafood, there's no better place than Louisiana's sportsman's paradise. So see you next time for another tasty edition of Hooks, Lies, and Alibis.
Hooks, Lies, and Alibis is underwritten by Visit Baton Rouge, a longtime partner of this series and LPB. The capital city offers Southern hospitality, cultural attractions, food, shopping, and fun. Information at visitbatonrouge.com. And by Audubon, Louisiana, working to conserve, restore, and protect important places for birds and people since 1924. And by the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Our mission is to tell Louisiana's story to the world. For a copy of John Folse's cookbooks and more, call the number on your screen or visit www.lpb.org/Folse.